Hi. I know I'm a little late, which is why I'm not even waiting for the introductory music to end, and we're just going to go right into it. Might make it even easier because I don't have to turn it off and back on again to make the actual intro work. We're here! I'm currently presenting to you the Switchyard Jewel. Switchyard Jewel is a little important because it was operating as our means of measuring the orbital periods of Lathe, Val, and Tylo by virtue of determining the orbital period of Lathe. But we've successfully surveyed those 3 planets now, moons, celestial bodies. But just by happenstance of the orbit we managed to get this thing into, I don't think it's a high enough orbit for us to reliably do a survey of Bop and Paul. There are 2 possible solutions to this. We either raise the orbit of the Switchyard, or we find another vessel to use as another, effectively, jewel or bungle. Initially, my plan was to repurpose one of the probes from the Crown Necklace expedition. Particularly the one we took to Tylo, since it's got nothing better to do, and I think the one at Val has a bit less fuel. But I'm really not sure. Now that I've looked at it and see that we have 1,500 meters per second of delta V remaining, this could be enough. Let's check the math. Oh, I've messed something up with the OBS setup. I think I've gone to the wrong scene. This is my normal stream scene, not the Kerbal Space Program exclusive one. Let me just switch that over real quick. You should see no change. Congratulations, you have seen no change. And now, there we go. Okay, let's look at our math. So we are currently in a... Well, I expect that this is a circular orbit. It's what I would have done. Now, that's looking pretty circular to me. Power on this is being done through good old RTGs, so we don't have to worry about that. The orbit's a little inclined. Not ideal, but workable. So down here, we're at 2073, 2072. It goes up, and then on top of the orbit, it's around 2,800. Sorry, 208 million. Let's call this reasonably serviceable. Okay, this is our apoapsis, basically, and it shall become our periapsis. Now we have to deal with our budget. Sorry, you couldn't see the altitude. There's our altitude. So, sitting around Joule with an altitude of 208 million, plus a bit, 208,109. And this is going to be tricky because we need to do both the extend and the circularization. What is the SOI of Joule, just for reference? We measured it at about 69 million. No, that's semi-major axis. We're looking for the SOI. SOI was about 2.5 billion. If we target 2 billion, that might be good enough, and maybe with the orbit so high, we can do a bit of fine-tuning for low delta V. That'd be nice. So let's target 2 billion. Oh, wait, that's going to be in radius, yeah? Let's do this in 2 billion. I've made it slightly wider. Okay. Velocity needs to be 1544. We have a current velocity of 1147. That's less than half. And if it's less than half at this lower altitude where the like energy of gravity is higher, we're gonna have plenty of fuel for this. And with it being a polar orbit, the switchyard will still be able to serve as a proper relay satellite. So great, plan A is gonna work just fine. Let's get this ready to go then. Target velocity is going to be 1544. Let's just pick prograde and go from there. This will give us plenty of delta V to do inclination adjustments when we're up there. We want it to be as polar as possible. 1544. And we are away. I've been thinking a lot more about the end of this series. I don't think it's really going to go out with a big, fantastic fanfare. We're mostly just going to survey Bop and Paul, maybe do like one extracurricular activity, if even that, and then just sort of wrap everything up. I then want to make a video cataloging all of the techniques and strategies I've used to do this series. And then maybe a while in the future when there's like interest and a better functional system of like programmed nonsense, we do one big mission to track down the parameters of ELU. But I see that as more of like a standalone thing. The way we are approaching our target destination, I should have expected this, because going from a circular orbit, which we were in, to a parabolic orbit, which is escape velocity, would be, you know, the square root of 2 times our current velocity. So that would be like 1600 given our start. So it makes sense that we don't have to go much further. I did put RCS on this thing. Can we go back down to 15440? Very good. From here, we go to Apo. This will be a 2 billion radius. Obviously, it won't look like 2 billion on the altimeter because it's a radius, not altitude. Given Joule's radius is 6 million exactly, we would expect to see something along the lines of 1994 million. Ooh, didn't expect the problem of Joule being too small. Perhaps we've gone too far. Should be fine. More loops like this will give us a better value. Anyway, we should be arriving at Apoapsis soon. I see the vertical velocity measure flattening out. 2, 3, 4. I think we've overshot it ever so slightly. But only ever so slightly. I stand corrected, that is near perfect. Beautiful. So, while we're here and while our speed is low, let's get the inclination as adjusted as possible. Won't take much, our speed is like nothing. Looking for the heading marker on our nav ball to be close to 270. As we wobble a little bit. Okay, that'll be good. Back to prograde. And pause, let's check our numbers. We are at effectively 2 billion exactly. Don't need the altitude anymore. Target velocity is 375.9. Easy. So, as I was saying, that for KSP Mapless is effectively the schedule I have in mind. Finish Bop and Paul, make a video about all the things I've learned, and then eventually like some Joule special event, or Elu special event maybe. Maybe even like another crack at Gilly. Gotta get its parameters good. We didn't really get its parameters good, we just sort of got there, which kinda counts. Also not really. Okay, we should be in a circle. Let's check that orbit. Alright, it's not a perfect circle. But really, it doesn't need to be. We know what we want to do. So, okay, Bop is... Okay, so I was worried that this was Bop or Paul. That's Tylo. The Bop and Paul are a bit higher up. We now need a reasonably good way to align and measure the orbits. And I'm going to wait until we're above the orbital plane of them for measurement purposes. Lower that. Actually, put this to surface mode. Using the faster moons to measure our orbital plane. Okay, that's about the orbital plane. Let's do a little bit further to give some concession for eccentricity. Alright, now check their positions. They're pretty bunched up. Let's move a little bit. And unfortunately, these particular glints in the space are even harder to see because they're so dark just as terms of the planet's coloration. We're going to have to squint metaphorically. So just hold stable. You don't need you pointed in any particular way. Actually, maybe we do. If we point you radial, that might make a good measuring stick. Camera's doing a little bit of weirdness. Let's just reset it real quick. Over that. Zoom out. So far, we can't see the ship. Put Joule right there. So. Okay, now we can start measuring. Oh, wait, no, now we can't. We need to go into free camera such that Joule is down. That's the missing piece. Raise it up. There. So what we have now is... Oh, wait, hold on. I'm experiencing a message in chat. Oh, hi, Thega. I see you're doing stuff. Hi, Lark, I see you're doing Excel's functionality. Glad stuff is working. Sorry, I was a little distracted by doing space measurement. We're basically turning Joule into a clock, but we don't know how fast the second hand moves, so we have to use a regular clock as well. Alright. So, Bop's glint is little brown dot. We are going to time warp. Yep, I see it moving. The moment it hits the edge of the game screen, I will pause. Maybe the point where I can't select it. Okay, I can't select it anymore. Time is paused. Condolences, but also thank you that you put that much effort into it. Okay, so we are at a mission elapsed time of 84 years, days, hours, minutes. We need seconds, so let's go to the universal time. Making sure everything's good. Okay. So we want our... the mu determiner, it's the... I mean, I guess we could use the mu determiner. We do need to figure out its orbital period, and then we put it in the... system. I really should have organized these better. This looks like the kind of thing I was doing. It makes sense. We have the orbital period, we have the standard gravitational parameter. We just need to swap that out for joules, put in the period of whatever we find here, and use that. Yeah, let's do this one. Okay. And this is a repeat. Great. So in that case, let's just copy all of this, put it down here. Swap this out for the SGP of Joule. This is still good. No. Okay. SGP of Joule is this big old number. We can now go over to... made a new one. Oh no, here's the one. This is the correct one. Delete this. Okay. So we want to just put in the period in here. We're going to have a Bop one. We're going to have a Paul one. That's going to be a dead because we don't care. So let's begin. Current time is that we can cheat by using the mu determiner just for a little bit. So we just right now 43634. For 1945. Okay, and now we need to figure out how many orbits we're doing. I think it's fine if we just do one. So we're tracing Bop. That's Paul. Don't get it confused. There's Bop. So just about the same time that it goes off the screen, and you can still see it, there's Bob. That's why I haven't closed the angle. You're not missing out on anything except for the readout of the clock. Bob will leave the screen again. The moment we're just selecting it doesn't even show its name anymore. I pause again. There we are. And now we can see the current time. Very interesting current time. A lot of zeros involved. We're just 8 minutes past midnight. That might be part of the time acceleration. Doesn't really matter. 43660, 8 minutes past midnight. Gives us an orbital period of... Let's remember to set the orbit count to 1. And if I put in a 1 here, that should go up by 1, and it did. But that's not what we're looking for. Okay. So that would be an orbital period for BOP of 54649. 5 seconds. We go back to here and put that in. Paste. The period of Tylo is registered as a 6-digit number with a 2 in front of it. This is a 6-digit number with a 5 in front of it. So, sanity check, it's a bigger orbit than Tylo. And that puts the semi-major axis at this value right here. So if we go all the way back, put in our data, here is our first measure. It's semi-major axis. Put that in a very strong red. And just to confirm to myself, I did do the sanity check of adding the... Well, I guess it wouldn't matter. These are giving the semi-major axis directly from the period information. I was worried I'd have to convert altitude, but that shouldn't be needed here. Oh well. That's a good number. Okay, now we do the exact same thing for Paul. Wait for it to come around Joule again. That's Bob. There's Paul. We are expecting Paul's orbit to be higher. Just visually perceiving it as such. Waiting for the time. Excuse me, do you have the time? There it is. Okay, back to the time calculator. The time provided by the game is 436101. Almost 4 exactly. Let's see, 43610. Oh, nope. Nope. 101. 359.22. Great. And as might be expected, the calculator thinks that we are going backwards in time. That is simply because I did not remove the end time from the other one. But that's okay. That's what we do next. Regress time. Wait for Paul to come around again. There's Paul. Coming around again. We're expecting a number larger than Bob's, but not by much. For the eventual SMA. Alright. Provided time is 43614322034. Put that in. 143 to 2034. One orbit, that would be a period of this, which feels like a bigger number than the one we had before. And it is. almost double, which is interesting given the doubling assumption given to Leithval and Tylo. And gives us a semi-major axis of 179 million. Given our initial orbit that we had for the switch yard, that means that we were strictly above the two planets. Barely. Good to know. At least by our measurements right now, but this is good data. We are now ready to actually send a probe to one of them. Let's do that. There are 3 celestial bodies remaining, of which I only have plans to do 2. They are 2 outer moons of Jewel, known as Bop and Paul. So we got Jewel Tylo, Jewel Val. Which one do we want to send? How about Candace? If you want a more visual representation of what completion looks like, just look at this chart and see that we only have these. This is all the rest that I'm planning on completing. It's just these 6 cells. I mean, we could fill in these. The SOI of Dress doesn't matter on like a grand scale of things. And the SMA of Gilly I don't want to touch. Though it would actually be very easy to calculate to a very, very rough degree. The SOI of Dress, I can just go watch the stream VOD and then calculate that number in, and maybe I'll do that. But really, the only things we're trying to get new frontiers on are these 6 cells. All 6 of which, well, all the ones in a particular row will be done all at once, and might be done today. Depends how long I do this. Alright, Candace, it's time to send you... You want to go to Bop or Paul first? I think I want to go to Bop first. It's closer. Well, okay, actually, of the 2 moons, I think we have better odds of landing on Bop. Paul, possibly also good, but I remember Paul has like really, really spiky high mountains. And I'm scared that with those, it might make it more dangerous for this to do a landing. So I kind of want to get to... Well, actually, maybe that reason could be inverted then. If we land on Bop, maybe we'd be able to take off from Bop and then go to Paul with this like, with one drone. That'd be cool. Might be worth trying. I figure it's worth trying. Okay, let's go to Bop. So, targeting Bop with our orbital calculations. Let's see here. We are currently sitting at a comfortable resting orbit of just about 90 or 100 million. Let's approximate it as 100 million, just because we're being lazy today for some reason. And we want a target radius of Bop's SMA. So paste that in. Target velocity is 1710. Let's do it. Not even that much of a rise, and that makes sense because we put all of the drones in a middling orbit between the inner 3 and the outer 2. So we're looking for a good 1710. We are away. One of the reasons I want to rush complete KSP map list is because I saw somebody else made a YouTube video about trying to play Kerbal Space Program and getting to the moon using only, like, high school level physics or something. So now I'm like, oh no, there's a competitor in my space. Spooky stuff. I'm not too worried about it. Our premises are slightly different, and I've been at this for a while and doing a lot more things than just getting to the moon. Full credit to that person, though, for being awesome and doing it as well. So if our target radius is 128 million, we would expect to see our altitude be about 122, given the radius of Joule is a flat 6 million from our measurements. And it does seem like we may have overshot, which is understandable. Okay, but now that we're here at classic 122629, actually that's pretty good considering it was 128812. So 122629. Target velocity of 9386.3. I forgot 3 orders of magnitude, my mistake. Sometimes I wish I could just, like, directly put in, oh, this will be in thousands or this will be in millions, but that would require me to do extra conveniences for my own calculator. Actual target velocity is 1482.6. Which makes a lot more sense. I like the large xenon tanks, structural trusses. You may be wondering why, but also you may be not wondering at all. Okay, orbit established. Now we need to find Bop. There's Bop. As I suspected, orbital inclination's going to be absurdly high. It's okay, though. We're going to get Bop onto the same orbital plane of us, and then we're going to do a phase check. Now, I can use alley as a metric for when the orbital plane changes, because we should be in the exact orbital plane as alley. Now we go into telescope mode. Let's see, do that. That's our little pointer. Pull out. Okay, looks good. We are now flat with the horizon, and we want to tilt down. Okay, so given these numbers, it looks like we are just about 30 degrees. Well, okay, they're 30 degrees down relative to our forward, which is good to know. It's something we can work with. Let's check our phase aligner right now. So our current orbital radius is whatever number we have right now plus 6 million. So that would be 128762. Pitch down is 30. We would like to get to phase almost immediately. Target periapsis is 99288. Target apoapsis would be if we were going backwards. That won't help us here. 99288. that is strictly above all of the other celestial bodies. Which is to say it's higher than Tylo, so we shouldn't be in danger of colliding with Tylo if we do this maneuver. Which means it's safe to do. So, we can take this target periapsis, go to our data, we'll go to our calculator, and say, hey there, buddy. Our current altitude is 122762. 762. We want our target radius to be... Forgot to actually take the number. Give me that. Paste as number. I forgot the orders of magnitude here, did I? Yes, I did. This should just increase the number by 3 orders of magnitude. That's fine. The conclusion I got to with it being safe is the same. Target velocity is now 1382.2. That's about 100 down, and maybe we should have just let the elliptical orbit stay instead of, like, raising it and then just to lower it again. But I didn't know where BOP was, and I want to make sure that the orbit was ready. No worries. Either way, target velocity is 1382.2. Let's do it. Now, the inclination difference between us and BOP is still going to be extreme. But by getting us closer to where BOP is, we're going to be in a much better position to adjust it accurately. 382.2. Okay, now we should just do a single orbit and see as BOP gets vaguely closer to us, while we are safely above any evil Tylo that might get in our way. This could have been an interesting opportunity for actually to try to do a phase burn instead of just a phase alignment like we've been doing. There's Tylo trying to reach us to interfere, but it just can't quite get it. In your face, Tylo. I do not know why I've decided to be so arbitrarily antagonistic towards you. There goes BOP. BOP is still noticeably in front of us, which is interesting. Maybe the inclination... Well, okay, it's definitely higher. It was in the plane with us last time we did this. What if we did it again? We want to go back to circular. We go back to 148.1.3 right now. One of the advantages of all these drones that we have being powered by Xenon is we have the Delta V to do all of this. If these errors persist, it could be that our estimate for the semi-major axis is flawed. But with a planet so inclined, it's going to be hard to gauge that until we correct the inclination. But we need to be close to the planet to correct the inclination. 1481.3. Okay. So now we look at BOP, we time warp forward, and we see what happens. Wait for it to hit like the vague center of the galactic plane here. Using Ali as a ruler. I think that's close enough. Ah, okay. I think I see the problem. The problem is that Bop's orbit is clearly eccentric. So we can't get to it easily. Let's take an orbit around. It's possible we're in the epicycle of Bop. Or, as it appears, barely outside of it. Okay. Bop is about to cross Joule in front of us, which is real interesting. I think now would be the best opportunity we have to adjust our inclination to match. Especially when we have such an easy comparison as literally Joule right in front of us. I don't know how inclined to make our orbit. We never really found a good quantifiable measure of it other than just guessing. I'm going to burn for a minute. I'll put us to about 5:54:22 on the mission elapsed time. There we go. Okay, it's strictly going up, and we kind of saw the angle it was going up. If we wait for our probe, which will be facing to normal, to be parallel to that kind of implied angle, I think we can get the inclination pretty good. And we can do this particularly well with this probe because it has a really, really clear perpendicular axis. And our inclination is going to be an extreme change. So at bare minimum, we should be getting, because we know Bop is going up, the left of one of our giant ear antennas to be pointed under where Bop is currently. Probably even further, though. We saw the angle it was taking. Alright, we won't be able to use this trick much longer, so I'm going to swap to our normal locked camera based approach. Would have really appreciated a locked angle that wasn't this one. But we can make it work. Let's see what Bop does. Pretty good. Let's just tilt the world a bit. Okay, Bop looks like it's going mostly down. Can push it a little further. Still higher. Little more. Little more. rotate reality. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, we are definitely in the epicycle of Bob. I want to go to free cam and sort of evaluate. Now, I sincerely believe we have not done a perfect job getting Bop's orbit exactly, and that will work to our benefit, because it means that we will go to one edge of the epicycle eventually. And in a sense, all we have to do is wait until that happens. I lost it. Where is it? There it is. Things are a little more hectic when you're in a smaller system. I got an idea. Let's refine our numbers a little bit. Let's just not take our word at every single thing that we do. Let's start locked in place. Let's go to the classic auto. Actually, no, we want locked cam for this. I think it'd work fine. Actually, all the cams would work for this one. I want to use free cam, I think. It'll be a little awkward because of the epicycle, but it's not letting me select Bob. Might be too small. Either way, we can I got an idea. We'll put Bob right at the bottom. We want to move the ship to prograde so we can measure our position in our orbit. And we'll see if Bob is higher or lower after one rotation. Okay, so Bob didn't show up until slightly later, which means that looking this way, which is prograde, Bob was slightly lower. If we were outside of the epicycle, a lower bop would imply a bop that was further away. But we're in the epicycle. And so by all metrics, bop is orbiting around us going up. So if we did a whole orbit and it was lower, that means we did a whole orbit faster than it did, which implies that our orbit is lower than Bop's slightly, I think. Which means we're going faster than it. Which means in this epicycle, we should be arriving at Bop from the forward side eventually. So if I time warp a lot, we watch Bop arrive. Every time we see Bop, it should be getting closer. And to make this less noxious, if we go to locked cam and point forward, maybe put the horizon down for sanity of our own vision, should see Bop just sort of stay in front of us, but get closer every loop. May have underestimated the variation. Bop do be very inclined. Not inclined, eccentric. I mean, they're both true, but contextually did not make sense for me to say that. Whoa, 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 whoa! Aha! Okay, we're getting close. Depending on the details, this might put us outside the epicycle, but it's going to be a real close shot. Okay, it's still in front of us, but you can see it. You can see the surface. We're close now. We're closer now. Where's Jewel right now? Jewel is decidedly behind us. This is prograde. No, well, no. We're not locked to prograde. This is... Wait, the ship's facing... retrograde. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm... Right, the ship's not turning. We're facing backwards. Okay, we missed it. I think. Yeah, we missed it. Okay, but it's not that bad. All we have to do is raise our orbit slightly. Might not be enough. Do there, please. 1482.3 is not our velocity right now. Let's go up to 1, 2, 3 flat. We're 3.5. Okay, our orbit's a little bit messy. Let's try it. Okay, we're close to BOP. We just need to refine our SMA understanding. Now that we're outside of the epicycle, it's a little easier to track. And it seems that generally speaking, our SMA measurement for Joule might be a little off. We're within 250 meters of our target, but actual angle kind of highly varied. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 7. One, 4, 7, 7.7. Trying to fix a near disaster. We're losing BOP. We need to get closer, not further away. Okay. Where's BOP? There's BOP. We are facing prograde right now. What it doing? Oh boy. We in locked cam right now? Where is that relative to... Yeah, we're in locked cam right now. Go into a more objective plane of reference, please. Free cam. Okay, Joule is down. That is behind us. So that is retrograde and going underneath us. So it's going underneath us and going faster. That makes complete sense. What does it do on the other side? Further away. Expect it to glide upwards, back around before suddenly like dipping down real quickly. There it goes. We're really close, but that might not mean anything, depending on its gravity. But this confirms that we are still in the epicycle, albeit barely. Though, getting to the edge of the epicycle is what our victory condition is, typically. What I'm curious about is if we've overcorrected. We're going deeper into the epicycle or still towards the edge. Should become clear if Bop appears to recede away from us, though that's a bit of a subjective measure. What will be really clear is if Bop starts getting, like, doesn't arrive to the retrograde side of us, or prograde side of us at all. Maybe it's just me, but my subjective perspective is that Bop is getting closer. Very subjective. And if it's getting closer on the prograde side, that means we're still going faster than Bop, which means I haven't overcorrected. Our estimated SMA is too low, and even our corrected SMA is too low. Its SMA must therefore be something higher than 129 million. What are the odds it's 130 flat? We are officially out of the epicycle. Prograde is that way, that is down. We are looking at a Bop that is just beyond us. I think now we start doing like moho tech. I think if we do moho tech, we could get close enough to it. So I'm going to accelerate, make our orbit more inclined. Try and match the inclination and eccentricity of moho or Bop right now. It's the same technique we used to get to moho and duress a little bit. Still going down. We might have to floor it for a while. That the SOI of moho is very small. We may want to floor it to battery exhaustion. The one thing that will be working in our favor is the inclination. The inclinations will inevitably be off, but in one 90-degree orbit, we should align. And then from there, we can just perturb our orbit in the exact same location and get a good phase. One 450. Still going down. Let's go to like 11350. Intervals of 100 until the situation continues to improve. Okay. We have roughly killed the relative velocity. Now, let's try and match the inclination. Want to go this way? Actually, no. You want to go this way. What I ultimately want is I want Moho to be directly above us in terms of the orbital plane relative to Joule. We have to manually adjust our spot for that. That's okay. Let's test here for a second. So in principle, if I go to here, this is the up-down position. Going that way. So we want to point retrograde at this point and adjust. We're effectively using docking strategies here. And we would expect the velocity we want here to be around 1500. Just in terms of like objective orbital velocity. Okay, now it's going the other way. We want to go radial out a little bit to bring it more in line with directly above us. I won't go too far on this one. I'll just go down to 11150. It's hard to explain what I'm doing on the fly. But if the only difference between our positions and relative velocities is our inclinations, then it means that BOP is forced to fall towards us. Okay, I think we need a little more prograde. Just a little. I'll go to 11125. And then in between each, I want to set ourselves to one of the normals, just to get a good sense of the like where our ideal position is. Oh! I think that's us getting it. It is us getting it. Very good. Okay. Quick, important thing to measure right now is the SOI. It's looking like, just based on our altimeter, it's going to be whatever the radius is, plus. So we don't know the radius of BOP, but I don't know if I've ever done the SOI as a measure of radius. Why stop now? So that would be 1.1 million. Pretty small relative to Tylo, which makes sense. About half of Val, which kind of makes sense. Interesting. Now let's do orbit stuff. To our lowest point here, and Bob really is just yet another captured asteroid, it feels. Okay. Altitude's about 200 kilometers, which is interesting. We are definitely going at escape velocity. I don't know by how much more. We were getting pretty close. But thinking about it, because we know the whole square root of 2 thing, I think we can make a reasonable guess that if we reduce our velocity, divide it by the square root of 2 right now, that result will either be still an escape velocity or an elliptical velocity with an apoapsis strictly above our own. Because if we're adjusting this by integrals of square root of 2, intervals, then it means that we'll never overcorrect. It will not be possible to overcorrect. Because in the worst case scenario, it will go from perfectly parabolic to perfectly circular. So here's an idea. What's 135 divided by the square root of 2? That will be our target orbit. Man, I wish I thought of this a long time ago. This is a really good idea. Okay, so 135 divided by square root of 2. It's about 95 and a half. So let's go for 95 and a half. This is a decent, safe way to ensure we never get a collision. Though, it won't let us know if we've succeeded. I know. We divide the result by another square root of 2, and we keep doing this until we get an orbit that is descending. Once we have one that's descending, we then multiply it by the square root of 2 again, which will take us from an elliptical orbit where we're at the apoapsis to an elliptical orbit where we're at the periapsis, but not escape velocity. Now, I believe we're going to be right on the first try, but let's see what our system's doing. It's a pretty low energy orbit to begin with, so this is near perfect circular. Wow. Okay, now we can start doing the survey. We don't actually have a good orbit to do a survey. It's circular. A circular... If it was perfectly circular, this would be good for the survey. In terms of the significant digits involved, we want our orbit to be a little lower in all regards. We do not want our velocity to be below 100 because we want that extra digit. That means I'm forced to go back to launching this blind. Let's say we go down to 80. We go to the other side, then max out our velocity to like 100. That's looking good. Okay, velocity right now is 154. Let's go to 140, and then we'll slowly lower it until the other side is above 100. And then we'll have our survey orbit, hopefully. There we are. It's declining. It goes up to 118. Okay, we can work with this. Bomb 72. Can we get the top above 100? Just ever so slightly. It'd be cool if we could get it exactly 100, but we're not really at that point yet. I just think it would make for a good, easy orbit to do. Let's bump it from 140 to 143. That should get us higher without getting us too overboard. Okay, excellent. Very good. Let's start doing our survey. We'll start with the apoapsis. Okay, we are approaching the point we care about. 193, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 100. $113,901. Okay. Do the radius survey. Our apoapsis altitude 113,901. Error is 0.5. Velocity, I didn't see it go below 109.9. Okay, that's half. That a periapsis. Some in the 70s. Significant figure limit is going to be our velocity anyway, so the fact that we're going under 100 kilometers here does not matter. But also, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking we can totally land on this. Easy. E and also Z. Okay, 69, 68, 67, 66, 65, 2, 1. $50, $49. $50. I saw it go to 143.1. I caught that. So it's 72449. .5, and it did go to 143.1. And then the sig fig for this is a resounding 4. Very interesting. 64,770 with an error of 480. If I just artificially give that a 5, pretty much does not change. Okay. Given that, I feel pretty confident putting in a solid marking of 65,000 for the radius of Bob. Give it a radius of 65,000. We can't really expect to do any more accurate than that, but I will give it a sort of like muddy green. Just to know that it is a small object with a lot of variation that could happen to it. Honestly, a larger planet is a lot easier to get an exact measure for. SOI was pretty solid. Okay. All that's left is the standard gravitational parameter, and that requires us to do an orbit, possibly several. So I think a reasonable finish line for this would be when we go into the 100-kilometer range. There we are. And we can use the mission elapsed time because this is a probe that was detached recently. So, time for the Mu survey. We can put in some of these values now. Periapsis, apoptosis, branch radius. We are getting these from the radius survey. Periapsis is this. Apoapsis is this. Radius is a solid 65,000. Paste. All right. So now all we need is the proper period and other orbital parameters. Going back to the clock for a second, it was year 3425. Hour is 5:30:46. And we're going to be going nominally for the classic 10 orbit cycle. The year will probably roll over. Okay. Let's do this in locked mode so that we can just look at BOP and it appearing is our mark that we're close to our target location. Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we wait till we enter the 100-kilometer range. We are here. Okay, current time is 3:31:48. 3:31:48. Over 10 orbits. 792.6.2. Periapsis has been added. Apoapsis has been added. Radius has been added. A mu of that. Let's put in the data. Now that is very small. We were kind of expecting it to be, though. I feel pretty all right with our estimates on that. Let's give it a decent green. But just comparing it to other values we know, Gilly is obscenely small in comparison, but we don't have any other object that might be a good match for it. Kind of wish I had the commas. Hey, look, it's the commas. So we're looking at an SGP of just about 2 billion. Closest comparison we can give to this is Minimus at 1.7 billion. Oh, but that's interesting. Minmus is a smaller celestial body. Its standard gravitational parameter is less than Bob. Those two facts make sense. But the SOI for Minmus is nearly double. And this goes to show that SOI is very much influenced not just by the mass of the object, but the mass that it is orbiting. Minmus is contending for space with Kerbin, whereas Bop is contending for space with Joule. And Joule is much, much bigger than Kerbin. End result is that Bop, though a larger object than Minmus barely, is unable to contend with the relative masses, the relative gravities. And this also comes from the fact that the SMA of Bop is not much further than the SMA of Minmus on like a grand scale of things. It's like quadruple-ish. And you could say, well, it's quadruple and the SOI would affect the radius squared because of the gravitational force, and that means that there's like a 16 times difference that you might expect from the distance involved. Yeah, but then the mass of the planet is times 10. Well, the radius of the planet is times 10. And we assume a similar density. It's going to be much, much more powerful. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Not important. What's important is that we have Bop surveyed. And now we can try and go for a little bit of extracurricular. I'm willing to sacrifice a probe on this if this doesn't go well. I want to try landing. We're expecting a landing that would be slightly harder than a landing on Minmus. Also, we should be using the brand new calculator that has now been populated with all the stuff needed for Bop math. Let's do Bop math. So our current altitude is 107,528. Let's say our target altitude is 0. That would give us a target velocity of 88.8. I don't know how high the mountains on Bop go. It's a very low mass object, so it has a lot more room to be all warbly. So I think we may just have to commit. Target velocity is 88.8. I'll do it. It's not perfect because this ain't our apoapsis. But we can make it our apoapsis by simply going radial out for a bit. Oh, we're actually ascending. Never mind. We want to go radial in. Just for consistency. And as the camera is alluding to, we are just on the precipice of being above or below ground impact. There we go. All right, you ready to try landing on Bop? That'd be a cool thing to do. Before we go, I want to make sure that we have the gravity display on. because this is going to tell us a lot about whether we can make it or not. We can accelerate at just about 1 meter per second. So if the gravity of Bop at the surface ends up being more than that, we will know that we cannot land. But we can go for it anyway. We might get lucky and enter a low portion of Bop, but if it ever feels like we are in danger of colliding with a mountain surface, we can adapt. In fact, it's already feeling like that may be true. Switch to free cam. Okay, given that our surface vector can only ever decrease from this, it feels as if we are going to collide with this mountain right here, if I do nothing. I choose to not do nothing. I will point surface radial out and try and level off. Of any of our problems, Delta V will not be one of them. Thrust might be worse of a problem if we run out of electric charge while doing this. Radar coverage might be a problem, but the sun is up. So worst case scenario, we will have direct connection to the Space Center via some of the other switchyards. But it also seems that the switchyard jewel is available to us. Where is it in the sky? It'd be in a polar orbit somewhere around these parts. Oh, we wouldn't be able to see it because we're not in the same SOI. Never mind. We can simply continue. Okay, I think I've leveled out a bit. Let's just cannot warp faster than 1x while below whatever those numbers were. I mean, I could just read those numbers. While below 24,500 meters and periapsis below 24,850. That's a very specific amount. I wonder if that has some suggestion as to where the mountains are. Or the highest point. By the way, we can always physics accelerate. We're gonna have a lot of speed to bleed. I think we are no longer landing. We are in just a very elliptical orbit. Let's check here. 18841 at Bob. Target velocity to be going to 0 and this to be our apoapsis would have to be about 161. So yeah, we are ascending. Let's descending. Photo op. Additional photo op. Completely ignoring our impending doom right now, I apologize. So gravity is about a third of our thrust. I think I would have liked to have landed on this mountain. But I guess we're going to have to go with the next one. Yeah, it might have been a wise idea to have aimed for a mountain to land on. Surface altimeter is 10,000 meters off. Okay, let's start flattening out. Let's just level off and start going in for a landing. So long as we have good radar coverage. We might lose switchyard jewel, but we will not lose switchyard everything else. I have no reason to believe that radar coverage will be a problem going forward. Okay, now I'm getting concerned. Our velocity isn't lowering fast enough. We're in trouble. Oh yeah, we're in deep trouble now. Oh, the gravity's going up to half. Should have landed on mountain. I got too greedy. Impact! Roll, you heck. We should still have control. Come on, buddy. You still got RCS on this thing. Give me retrograde. Okay, we bounced. Next thing I think we should bounce on is the docking port, actually. So go prograde, please. It's the one thing I think we can afford to lose. But I worry we're going to lose the probe droid head. And there it goes. Candace has fallen. But we got everything we needed. Alright. That leaves only one probe remaining. Allie. And Allie's going to Paul. That was complete squandering of a probe. I understand this fact, but it's okay. So, Paul time. Where is Paul relative to us? Just about above us. So if we go for an orbital burn now, unquestionably we are going to be in front of Paul. I think that's a desirable situation to be in. So, let's figure out our calculation. Shouldn't be anything too complicated. We know where we want to go. Target radius is going to be Paul orbit. We are currently residing in 99924 million. Target velocity is 1832.2. Go forth. Given our old metric gave Bop a lower orbit than reality, we can also expect that our SMA estimate for Paul is also equally a little low, but also still close enough. $1832.2. Bit too far. Away. Paul over there? Yes, it is. Paul's a bit easier to see at a distance. Okay, 173825. That is just about what we were looking for. Now let's do the quickly. Our estimate of its phase misalignment so that we can just go straight to the phase burn, which should put our apoapsis higher than us. Well, inclination doesn't seem that bad at first glance. Makes sense. I think there's better odds that Paul is a natural satellite, or at least naturaler. Relative phase is still 30, though. I'm almost say 32 degrees. Let's say 32 degrees. So 173,825,000, we go to our phase aligner. 73825. Remember, we need to add 6 to that because Joule, 179825. Pitch down is 32 degrees, orbits the phase. Let's go for 1. Target apoapsis is this number. For our calculator, we want this as our target, and our altitude is still the same, 173,825,000. Target velocity is 1316.6, and we can get there easily. For all the finagling we have to do at a rapid pace, these are going quite smoothly. I have very low hopes of landing on Paul, considering how badly Bob went. The way target velocity is still 1316.6. Our apoapsis is going to be something in the 215 million meters range, which is well and safely below escape velocity, or escape altitude, the SOI. 1316.6. We're there. Okay, 1 orbit, and we'll start messing with the details. Paul go. Where did Paul go? Before we arrive, where'd Paul go? Oh, there Paul go. There's definitely some inclination to be had. And it feels like we've overshot. Okay, how's Paul looking now? Oh, the relative phase is even worse. This would imply heavy eccentricity, or it could imply a failure on the numbers on my part. In order to figure out what's true, we need to circularize. 173825 to 173825. Target. 3 orders of magnitude, please. 1253.4. There. And now let's get ourselves a good look at Paul, where it is, and what it's doing. Once again, it would appear that we are in the epicycle, and that it is perhaps even worse, which is unfortunate. If we try and follow it around... Oh! Oh, we gotta be following it from this side. Paul. Hold on, we have a perfect opportunity here to do Moho strats. There's radial normal. Now we wait for Paul to show up. Oh yeah, it's Moho strats time. It's entirely possible that we could get to Elu using Moho strats and just Dead Reckoning. I don't want to. That's scary. Okay, we wait till closest approach. I think that's pretty close to closest approach. It might even be a little too late. Now, figure out which orientation points us down to the right. Well, there's our down. Let's start there. Let's go for 100 meters per second. So 11817 on our remaining delta V measure. What's important right now is canceling our perceived relative velocity. Or at least maneuvering such that we move Paul to normal vector position. Okay, we got a lot more down to do. Just floor it. I want to go to 1600. 11,600, so 200 meters per second difference. When we do that, it will look like Paul is moving away from us that way, then we will adjust the other stuff. We can do this piecemeal, we have the delta V. I'm so happy I invented Moho Strats. It has made a lot of these wilder captures so much easier to plan. Come a long way. Check. There we go. Okay, we've overdone it. Let's go radial out for 50. Good. That means we've gotten to a worse upper bound. Okay. Time check. Needs a little more. How about another 25? Time check. Little more. Okay, that looks good. Now we want to move its relative position to close to radial or normal as possible. This is pretty close. As we go through 1/4 orbit, we can try and adjust. So let's just point it like this. This might be good enough with the SOIs involved. This is the furthest planet, well, furthest moon of Jool. So in terms of distance, its SOI is the largest, or at least has the largest potential from distance. The distance factor is highest, and I think its mass is higher than Bob. Just, I'm guessing. So we can expect an SOI that is larger than 1 million. That's not a lot, but it might be enough. Just keep the time going, see what it does. It's going up and to the right. We want to follow it. So that is retrograde. Mostly retrograde. Okay, let's do 50 retrograde. If we overdo retrograde, that might even be better. Because we want it to be radial normal. Kill. Time check. Good, it's coming towards us. Okay, from here, let's check our normal. Let's check radial out. I just want to make sure we know what direction radial out is. Okay, that's radial out. Okay, now that we're looking almost perfectly at radial out, we're going to give this a 50. We want it to come down closer to normal. Closer to normal and then kill relative velocity. Well, kill parallax, really. Okay, we need to give it a little bit more down. I'm going to give it 25. Good, it's coming closer to us, and it seems like it's getting bigger. Now, this all applies based on normal vector. So this is our alignment. Watch it get closer. Does get closer. That seems like closest approach. Now we see what vector it's going in. Almost perfectly aligned with prograde. Excellent. Let's give this 25. And time check. Still rising. Let's give it another 25. Time check. Moving the other direction, and very slowly. I think we let this ride. That's looking real good. I'm convinced we're going to hit SOI on this. Oh, yep. That's SOI, all right. We're here. There you are. You know, auto cam. What you retrograde? We're looking like we are going to skirt by the side, which is good. Let's see how low we can get. Okay, sitting at a comfortable velocity of 110.5 while careening at just about 280 kilometers up. Good to see. Now, if we lower ourselves to a comfortable 60, maybe 65, that should be our square root of 2. Get ourselves to a nice low orbit, start doing some surveys. Moho method works again. I'll cut it at 70. Okay. Altitude is rising, not too strongly. Don't escape, you chump. I didn't check the SOI. My mistake. Well, we're back in Joule orbit, so there's our SOI retry. Let's just point towards Paul and go back towards it. Only going at like 60-ish when we left, so it's like floor and scenic that direction. It's extremely fuel efficient, but we have no choice. Burn till 11.2 zilch. Okay, looks like we're back. And it seems that SOI is just about 1 million. Uh-oh, that means that Paul might be smaller than Bob. Yeah, it's about 1 million. That, I didn't expect that. I thought Paul would be bigger than Bob. I guess it's not. I'm giving this a yellow in the old marker, but there we go. Paul. SOI of smaller than Bob. That really tempting me to do another landing attempt. We'll see what we get in terms of the survey. First and foremost, it was down to periapsis. Looks like we have a lower energy orbit this time. Just to say we're higher up. Here we go. I'm cutting this by half. We're going to 30. Close enough to another square root of 2. I keep thinking, oh, I only need 1 square root of 2 division. No, I need multiple. It's just that interval will always be safe if you check if you're descending or not. Bonk. And we are descending. Starting to get real pessimistic about our ability to do a good survey. Where at all on this thing are we going to have a velocity over 100 meters per second? Answer is danger close. Even this isn't above 100. I'm starting to think 100 meters per second might be like surface orbit speed. For an object that's lower mass, theoretically, than... Okay, no, absolutely. If we're under 100 kilometers, and our speed isn't 100 meters per second when it's elliptical going up, this thing is definitely a lower mass than Bob. Normally, my ambient intuitions about Kerbal Space Program and its facts and knowledge are pretty good. Like remembering that 124 resonance pun with Joule, and remembering the possibility that Ike is in geosynchronous orbit at Ike. Well, Ike and Duna. So, just running these through, trying to get lower and lower until the velocities involved are about 100. Here's 100. So here's going to be my check on how good our survey can be. I'm going to hit periapsis here. I'm going to lower our velocity to 100 meters per second exactly, and we're going to see what happens on the other end. Will we be ascending? Will we be descending? We are descending, which is a good sign. Are we on a collision course? Doesn't look like it. We are losing a lot of altitude potential. This is 12 kilometers up. Okay, well, I guess we can do our survey here, I suppose. Let's start somewhere. We'll start with apoapsis. At least both values are above 100. Okay. 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 1, 2. Four. Three. Okay, I didn't see a 99.9. So that's a 4. 22204 for apoapsis. Error of 0.5. Velocity was 100 flat. 0.05. Okay. On the parry. Getting close. 85, 84, 83. 79. Okay, I saw 12174, and I did not see the velocity change, so those are our numbers. Wait a minute. Do I have these backwards? This is our... No, this has to... No, we're good. Sorry, it's just the fact that all these are very low numbers got me confused. We're good. This is our periapsis. 0.5. 117.9. Did not see it go to 118. 0.05. Sig of 4. Okay, so that would be a radius of 43,860 with an error of 350. If I arbitrarily increase this even higher, things ain't really changing, okay? I think we can safely put down a rough radius of 44,000. And I will. Seems good. Okay, time for orbital period tech. What is our time? Actually, what is our milestone we want to go for? Maybe when it goes from a 1 to a 2. Might be good. Doesn't matter where on the orbit it is, as long as it's consistent and easy to see. Don't give me the spooky music when I'm doing the most menial task ever. Okay, and MET is fine for this, given how low the orbit is and the gravity involved. I don't think it'll trip over the year, but if it does, we can just add that in post. Let's just go to our classic phase aligner. Not our phase aligner, the mu determiner. Let's begin with the survey results. Periapsis was 12174 22204. 22204. Radius is 44,000. Okay, now for the time. Current time is 1953235. Looking good. Now let us roll the clock 10 orbits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, We have time. 197,052.37. Put that in 10 orbits. Gives us an orbital period of about slightly over an hour. Periapsis was set, Apoapsis was set, radius was manually inputted based on what I remember, but it is correct. For a final mu value of this. Put it there, and what do we see? And we can give it that. 721 million. Comparing it to other things we know, Gilly is still obscenely tiny by comparison. It is about 4 times lower than Bop, which is surprising. Paul really is the smaller one. I didn't expect this. But we got the numbers. And I kind of trust the numbers. We get good numbers out of these. And then another comparison to Minmus at 1.7. Slightly smaller. So even smaller than Minmus. Okay. I've decided it's time to redeem myself. We're going in. I know that Paul is like legendary for its like really tall mountain ranges. So I'm a little worried. But we got things to do. Let's see. Current altitude is exactly 20,000. Target is Zilch. For an estimated 95.9. But we go to like 97. Okay, that'll be good enough. And then we can try and make this our apoapsis by doing a little bit of a radial adjustment. There we go. Keep us retrograde. We're gonna need it. Also, get the grav up again. Not what I meant to do, but okay. The sensor picks up multiple layers under the surface of the planet. Cool. Transmit that, why don't we? toggle the display on this. So we're currently sitting at 0.18. That is interesting. I wonder what this says about the density of Paul. It did say multiple layers. But we're already at 20 kilometers. But that is... like... we're going down to 2/3 of our current altitude. That could make the gravity go up quite a bit. I think our point of contact is actually quite lucky. Okay, no chances we fire immediately. But this is interesting. It feels as if the surface gravity of Paul is similar to that of Bob. And I think that makes sense because Paul is smaller. And when the radius of an object is very small and you go from like 20 kilometers up to 0 kilometers up, that's going from radius 60 to 40. That's a big multiplier to the actual distances involved. Oh, we're ascending. Ascension is good. Ascension is safe. Okay, just to check, I want to keep our numbers up to date here. 4696 at Paul. Target 0. Velocity would be 118,000. We are almost certainly suborbital then. So let's just be cautious. Sea level is not much different from actual altitude, so we're going to swap over. Let's just remove our lateral velocity and slowly descend. We ain't going to be getting any gravity leniency. Also, we appear to be going over the North Pole. Or one of the poles. Cool, didn't plan for that. That'd be a nice little landmark to explore. If we have the thrust to land, we would have the delta V to make cool adjustments. Try and head north. Okay, so we are drifting. Seems like we can accelerate at just about... That's not good. Oh no, I'm misreading the gravioli. We're going at about 0.03 Gs. That's the rough acceleration of Paul right now. And our acceleration is about 0.1. Which means currently our thrust is triple the planet's gravity. Which means that we have a TWR of about 2. If that's good enough for like the space, like the Saturn V, it's good enough for us. It does mean we sort of have to land as gently as we would ascend. Also really puts into perspective how we just sort of bungled the stop landing. It was really because I didn't decelerate nearly enough. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, we can hover perpetually. But if we can get our electric charge to reduce, we can do better than that. This place is pretty. Can we go more closer to the North Pole again? Also, was it the North Pole we were close to? I think we'll have to land and check. Either way, if we maintain this speed... I'm trying to think this may have been the South Pole we were close to. If we maintain this speed, even if we, like, crash... If we crash at this speed, we'll probably remain intact. I'm going to land and I'm going to watch the planets move. And in doing that, I hope I can figure out which way north is. Or which pole we're closer to. Okay, decelerate. We do not have sight of Switchyard Jewel, but as expected, we can still see Switchyard Kerbin. 8 meters per second. 7. 6. 500 meters. Okay, hold at 5. Okay, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Touchdown. We did it. We're on Paul. Okay. What pole are we near? I need to see some moons. This is north. We're near the North Pole. Well, while we're here, let's look at some science. Uninteresting. Uninteresting. Come on, give me interesting science. Reasonable. These are not interesting sciences. I should have done magnetometer stuff. Actually, no, magnetometer stuff almost never gives interesting science. Just a really long-winded regular science. It's okay, we made it. Do another photo opportunity. Get me out of the picture. You know, something I've noticed, I'm pretty sure that the YouTube thumbnails do better if there's an actual ship or some structure of Kerbin design in them. I don't know why this is. I don't care too much about trying to make my thumbnails appeal to, like, people. I'm kind of morally opposed to the concept of clickbait. Just an interesting observation I made. I think it's because it seems less generic if you just have a cool shot of, like, a planet from Kerbin or something. Like, you can't just get, like, a stock photo from cool atmosphere. It's, like, a bit more personal. I appreciate that. This is pretty much the finale. Very anticlimactic finale, but a finale nonetheless. Let's give us a good photo. I want one of, like, the ship kind of casually resting here. Unfortunately, it's a bit too spherical. Doesn't hold attitude well. Quit being spherical! I think it'd be cool to have one where it's like sitting here against the rocks, like relaxing after a long day of journey. Dang thing would hold still. That'll do. In fact, that looks pretty good. Get me out of the shot. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. That's a long day's work. You finish doing hard labor and you get outside to just take a break and you sit down on like a sidewalk and you're just like, phew. Well, that's over with. That's what Ali is feeling right now. Or like if you go for like a long walk and you're like, man, I'm tired of walking. Let me sit down and rest and marvel at the fact that I'm in a new location. Does that feel nice? Is that a good feeling? I'd like to imagine it is, but you know. You don't, but you do. But you don't. Oh, that's also nice. Doesn't really work because way too dark on this side. That is nice. I think when I started this, I expected the ending to be a lot more bombastic and fanfare, but it really does feel like we've just finished our homework. Here it is. This box right here is a representation of our travels, of the research we've done, of all that we've concluded. There is more information that we could eke out of just the stream. I could get a good measure for the SOI. Gilly's SMA can be estimated by just sort of sitting on Gilly. We did land a probe on Gilly. And just watching its orbit progress, we get a pretty decent estimate by just seeing where it is close to and further away from Eve. Those are more trivial matters compared to what I consider the main crowning achievement of this series to be, which is actually getting decent parameters for the planets and the moons that were relevant and getting to them with nothing but the raw math, good planning on how to take geometric and orbital concepts and put them into an actionable working idea and plan and strategy. Development of theory for how to do this well with concepts like the epicycle, the Moho method, and we made it all the way out to Jewel and all of its constituent moons. All of our Kerbinauts back at Kerbin, though we have retired them from active service as we've gone interplanetary, are greatly appreciated for the services they have provided. Let us go to them. Let us go to them and give them a proper honoring. I'm not doing this because I forgot their names, but I might be doing this because I forgot some of their names. No, actually, I think I remember most of the names. It's like one that I don't think I have the name memorized. I'm not telling you which one. We're getting all four of them. Let's just build a celebratory, like, platform. Some nice structural components. Give them a good old welcome. good old bit of honor. This'll do. Let's take this, a few right angle triangular bits that will fit on the side. Let's make a nice little podium. Not big enough, huh? Too small? You are the one, probably. Not you. Not you. Excellent. Now we can get a... I think mid-size would fit the proper angles. Some actual snapping on that, please. Maybe we just give it, like, proper structural supports. Just take some of those and put them in places. Then we need like a ramp. Like a good old classic, hey, you're in a place. This one we're gonna have to just sort of eyeball. Actually, maybe not. After all, this station has a floor. Let's just use the floor as our reference. Oh, we even get a nice measure of the relative size of a Kerbal with this. The mouse really far away so you can really fine-tune the angle. That'll do. We need a way to deploy them. My thought is we simply... Oh, I know. We'll have a backing for this, and then the other side will actually have like a pod. And then it won't be seen from the front. Big platform out. Be snapping on these again. I'm sure we go to global snapping eventually. Okay, then we can get the flag out. That wouldn't be in structure, that would be in utility, yeah. There we go. Yeah. Now we're talking. And then the pod. We don't need anything fancy, just some way to get 4 Kerbins on station. This can hold 3, this can hold 2, this can hold 1. This can hold 4, but it's kind of overkill. How many can go in the Mark II? Oh, crew capacity 2. Oh, this can hold 2. I did not realize. The mem. The overkill might be too big. So instead, let's simply have 2. I guess it would be justified to do that. And they can just hop off. So this is good space to give like a pair of lander cans. That works good. And then a small ladder. Nice. And the stage can hold them. Let's move the flag up. You can go, okay, never mind. Let's move this a little bit further away. Here we go. Then we can move this up. And the 4 can stand here. Let's get some good lights going. It's on. They're good. I don't have anything to put on the walls so much, but that's okay. Okay, and finally the crew. Here we go. Enman, Roncott, Tedamone, Catbro. Place your bets as to which one, whose name I forgot. And I think we're ready. Oh, I should put electricity on this thing. Also, the center of mass might be wonky, and it will tilt backwards because of the lander cans. I built a probe. Yeah, there it goes. I built a probe mothership that could go to Joule, but I can't build a stage. I'm sorry, you 4. Okay, we get some structural supports on the other side of that dang stage. We add electricity so we can actually power the lights. Oh, I know what it needs. I absolutely know what it needs. Well, aside from those things I already said. Batteries can simply be connected with no particular concern here. There we are. We could also even add in proper solar panels to help with electricity generation long term. I'll be fine. This is backstage. We don't need to worry too much about backstage. Okay, then you go here, you go here. We want to rotate these. Good. And then this is what we need. Okay, let's see here. Let's go for a... I think that would be good. Just a nice little boop, bop, boop, bop. Get the explosion delay at only about 1. We don't need it to go very high, just high enough. Even the launch velocity can just be a good old 20. These will be close range. And then, extra command actions. Custom 1 will be launch. Custom 2 will be launch. So we can launch them at will. Okay, back to crew. Crew is already ready to go. Want to change costumes for this? No, actually. We don't. We're having an award ceremony. I don't know if there will actually be awards, but it's a ceremony. Alright, one at a time, you four. Start with Inman, resident scientist. Master of making our science go well on those early voyages where we had to put them in containers and put them in other containers and make sure we do more science. Shall stand here. Next up. Oh. Good old rover from earlier. Next up, Catbro the Engineer. I'll be honest, we didn't really utilize engineer tech to the best of our abilities. Aside from just the general quality setup of our deployables, we could have done much more, like repair wheels, construct stuff on site. We didn't do much of that, but Catbro has nonetheless been there for many of our great disasters, such as the crash on Minmus at, what was it, Salt Cliffs? I was definitely salty about it. And has helped us through thick and thin. Next up, Tedamone, our second pilot. Though overshadowed by our first and finest, Tedamone has shown incredible resilience and has been a key figure in many important missions in his own right and various rescues of Roncott. Couldn't have done it without you. And our great hardships, you have saved us. There we go. And finally, our first, our furthest, Roncott Kerman. Through our dangerous early years and a near disastrous re-entry in a very early flight, pulled through and was able to take us all the way to the moon and Midness, and laid the groundwork through the research and development and accomplishments that they've done. That all four of these have done to take us interplanetary and do a near full survey of the entire system, except Elu. Forget about Elu. We'll do Elu at a different time, maybe. These four. The pioneers of the Ferostratus astrometric expedition. We salute you. Alright, let's see how these fireworks go. They don't. I have made a crucial mistake. No one's controlling the ship, they're all outside. Okay, the fireworks are having a little bit of problems here. Can we fix this? I think we can. All we gotta do is ferry in. Okay, there are two ways to do this. One is, I don't know if you can transfer control over the claw, but if you can, all we would have to do is send a probe over there, have it latch onto the thing, and then we're good to go. Other possibility is we just need to ferry over a new set of fireworks to sit behind the stage and then launch it from that ship. I'm gonna go with the drone power control authorities thing first. Let's open up. Where's our copter that we sent to Eve? Not the bee. Dubine, Kintan, Brandtoucher, maybe? Somewhere around here. No, this is our dead lander. Oh, the Tubine, of course. Yeah, there's Tubine, all right. Okay. Gonna make some quick adjustments to Tubine here. All we need to do is add the claw. The coupling, yeah? Yeah. Okay, remove... Don't remove everything. Remove all of the scientific payloads and stuff. Just get us to the fundamentals. Do not give me the spooky music when we are doing a ceremony here. I'm overriding. Okay, decent compromise. Okay. I don't remember why I added these on, but they can go. These can drop out. I'm mostly just trying to reduce mass here for a bit. Okay, next up, we want some landing gear so that this can get off the ground safely and securely. For the most part, I don't want them in the way of the rest of the ship. So these should retract. Might not be enough space. So let's get a little bit of a structural tube. A bit too thick. And then just a little flat bit to adapt them to that profile, and that should be good enough. It's got power, it's got solar collection. We could maybe add an RGG, but I don't think that's necessary. This antenna is overkill. Let's go to a smaller antenna. Stick with the like 2 symmetry. Okay. Slight adjunct. Little bonus. Hopefully this will just work and we can then get control of the station and then fire the works. If this doesn't work, We'll just make another one of these and add fireworks to it. Okay. First off, can it fly? Kind of forgot how to fly this thing. It's been too long, I need my manual. Custom 3 is disengage. Okay. Oh, there we go. Let's just, okay. We have regular control. Now we just need to hover over there. Claw's been armed. Let's fly. All null, going quite well. Gotta make a quick detour onto a ground somewhere, that's okay. Stuff. This might be good. Get us situated like this and just sort of use like global based movement options. Trickiest thing to handle with this is obviously throttle. Very finicky about how fast it wants to move. Bonk. Okay, now it should just be a matter of ducking behind the stage and latch on. FAE engineering really showing its capabilities here. Hey! We lost one propeller. Okay, we're a little flippy, but it's okay. The problem there was I forgot to disengage the landing gear. Okay, even with the loss of one propeller, it seems like we're still mostly stable. Just do short Incremental hops. Eventually get there. I'm going for it. And we have latched. Do we have control of the fireworks? Also, what have you four been up to? You're slowly inching forward, I see. Get back there. Get to your posts. I guess that's what the little, like, in-place jump was about. So we'll just have to put you a bit further back here. Okay. Next up. Before pulling a prank on me as I have a technical issue. And we are back in position. Okay. Get everything situated. I'm even going to get me off the screen now, just in case. Try these fireworks, why don't we? In 3, 2, 1. Darn it. Quick check here. Okay, at least we can manually control them. Where's my action groups here? Action group 2. Oh, it's because it's action group 1. I was pressing the wrong one. Oops, my bad. Okay. Actual test in 3, 2, 1. Yeah! Now that's a good celebration. Okay, they're falling off the platform again, alright. You lot. It's a good time. And I guess that is how we call it. A nice celebration of all that we have done. I'm gonna try really hard to actually make that video happen. I know every, like, previous video I've tried to make happen did not happen. I'm gonna try and make this one happen, because this one's informative. It's educational. Enman, what are you doing? Oh, y'all. Hey, you know what? Can I launch the stage? We got enough thrust on those? No, we do not. It's a very nice air conditioner, though. Anyway, this... We made this. We made this happen. We made all of this happen. Like, it's been quite a journey. It's a good ride. Hope you all like it. Y'all are doing good. You're all happy. Look at these four. They're happy. They're doing funny jokes. Having a fun time, just sort of messing with the stage. Yeah, you are. Well, the Ferrostratus Astrometric Expedition, the FAE, appreciates your enjoyment of this. We appreciate what you four have done for this program, and we appreciate you for caring about our journey. I'm Exception. This is Int TV. Have a good day, and good night. It's like a cool, like, shot of the world. Beautiful. More. Let's. I want to end this kind of how we started it, which was like a nice, cool shot of the sky. Perfect.